In February 2023, a lawyer named Stephen Schwartz filed a legal brief in a federal court in New York. The brief cited 6 cases, real cases, with real judges, real rulings, real citations, except none of them existed. Every single one had been invented, made up, hallucinated by ChatGPT, and Schwartz had submitted them to the court without checking. The judge was not amused. Schwartz faced sanctions. His firm was humiliated. The story made headlines on every continent. But here's the thing. That wasn't a warning about AI being dangerous. That was a warning about lawyers who didn't understand what AI had already become. Law is one of the oldest professions in human civilization. It is built on precedent, on language, on the careful reading of documents, and on years, sometimes decades, of accumulated expertise. It is also, it turns out, one of the most automatable professions on the planet. Not because lawyers are not smart, they are, but because so much of what lawyers actually do, reading contracts, searching for precedents, drafting standard documents, and reviewing evidence, is exactly what large language models are now extraordinarily good at. By early 2026, the legal AI market was valued at over $1.2 billion. It is projected to hit $8 billion by 2033. Firms like Allen Overy, Clifford Chance, and Baker McKenzie, names that define the global legal elite, are already using AI tools in their daily workflow. This is the story of what that actually means for the profession, for the people inside it, and for justice itself. Here's something law schools don't put in the brochure. A significant portion of a lawyer's working hours, especially in the early years, is spent doing something that has nothing to do with courtroom drama or legal strategy. It's called document review. You take a case, you receive sometimes millions of pages of documents, emails, contracts, internal memos, financial records, and someone has to read them, flag the relevant ones, and organize them into a coherent picture. Historically, that someone was a junior associate billing at $300 to $500 an hour. In 2026, that someone is increasingly a machine. A platform called Relativity, used by thousands of law firms globally, now integrates AI review tools that can process hundreds of thousands of documents in hours, not weeks, with accuracy rates that in controlled tests match or exceed human reviewers. Kira Systems, acquired by Litera in 2021, can extract and analyze clauses from thousands of contracts simultaneously. What would take a team of paralegals 3 weeks takes Kira roughly 4 minutes. And then there is the research. Legal research used to mean hours in a library or on Westlaw, hunting for relevant case law. Today, tools like Harvey AI, which raised $80 million in a Series B round in 2023 and was valued at over $1.5 billion by 2024, can answer complex legal research questions in plain English, citing real cases in under 30 seconds. 30 seconds. For research that would have taken a junior associate an entire afternoon. You begin to see the problem. Let's talk about paralegals. In the United States alone, there were approximately 370,000 paralegal and legal assistant jobs as of 2024, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The median salary was around $60,000 a year. These were stable, respectable careers for people who wanted to work in law without the cost of a law degree. The growth projection for that job category between 2023 and 2033, 4%, which sounds fine until you look at what is actually happening inside law firms right now. In January 2024, the law firm Linklaters, one of the UK Magic Circle firms, publicly announced expanded use of Harvey AI across its practice groups. The stated goal was to reduce the time lawyers spend on routine research and drafting by up to 50%. 50%. That's not a small efficiency gain. That's half the justification for an entire category of staff. In the same year, a survey by the Thomson Reuters Institute found that 82% of law firm leaders believed AI would have a transformative impact on the legal profession within 5 years. Yet less than 30% had a formal AI strategy in place. They knew it was coming. They just hadn't decided what to do about it. Meanwhile, law school applications in the U.S., traditionally one of the most stable professional pipelines, started to show something unusual. According to LSAC data, the number of applicants entering specifically for transactional and contract law roles began to flatten in 2024, even as overall applications held steady. Students were reading the same headlines everyone else was. There's a particular cruelty to studying for 3 years, accumulating six-figure debt, and entering a profession that is now actively trying to replace the entry-level work you trained to do. So far, we have been talking about the back office, the research, the documents, the paperwork. But what about the courtroom? This is where lawyers have always felt safe, because the courtroom is about argument, about persuasion, about reading a judge, reading a jury, making a human case for a human outcome. AI cannot do that, can it? In 2023, a startup called Do Not Pay, which had previously made headlines by helping people fight parking tickets with chatbot lawyers, announced it would pay a defendant $1 million to use an AI earpiece in court, receiving real-time arguments generated by its AI. The stunt was ultimately abandoned after threats of bar association action, but the idea did not go away. By 2025, multiple jurisdictions in the United States had begun issuing formal guidance on AI use in court filings, not to ban it, but to regulate disclosure. Courts in the Fifth Circuit and several state systems now require lawyers to certify whether AI was used in drafting any submitted document. Meanwhile, in the UK, the Judicial Office issued AI guidelines for judges in 2024, acknowledging that AI tools were already being used to assist with sentencing recommendations and case preparation, and it warned about the risks of algorithmic bias entering judicial decisions. Algorithmic bias in sentencing. This isn't science fiction. The Compass risk assessment tool, used to inform parole and sentencing decisions in multiple U.S. states, was the subject of a landmark ProPublica investigation back in 2016, which found it was significantly more likely to falsely flag black defendants as high risk. The tool is still in use. AI in courtrooms isn't new. We just haven't been paying attention. Here's where it gets genuinely interesting. You'd expect the big law firms, the ones billing $1,500 an hour, to be fighting this, to be lobbying, resisting, warning of dangers. They're not. They're investing. Allen and Overy, now merged with Shearman and Sterling to form A&O Shearman, one of the world's largest legal practices, became one of the first major global firms to formally deploy Harvey AI across its entire workforce in 2023. They weren't dragged into it. They partnered with Harvey, enthusiastically. Clifford Chance launched its own AI accelerator program in 2024. Denton's, the world's largest law firm by headcount, with over 20,000 lawyers across 80 countries, began piloting AI contract analysis tools the same year. Why are the biggest firms leading the charge on a technology that, at first glance, threatens their own billing model? Because they figured something out. AI doesn't reduce what they charge per hour. It lets them do more hours of high-value work in the same time. The junior associate who used to spend 40 hours reviewing documents, they now spend 40 hours doing strategy, client management, and complex judgment work, while the AI handles the rest. The firm bills the same, or more. It's the mid-sized and small firms that face genuine disruption, the ones that competed on price by deploying armies of junior staff. That model is being hollowed out from the inside. And for independent solo practitioners, the lawyers who handle immigration cases, divorce proceedings, and small business contracts, the pressure is coming from a completely different direction. It's coming from below. In March 2024, a Stanford Law School study found that GPT-4 passed the uniform bar exam, the test every lawyer in America must pass, with a score in the 90th percentile, not a passing grade, the 90th percentile. It outperformed the vast majority of human law graduates. and that's GPT-4, the model that was already being replaced by newer, more capable versions by the time the study was published. But here's the number that actually changes everything. According to a 2024 report by Goldman Sachs, approximately 44% of legal tasks are automatable using current AI technology, not future AI. Current AI, the tools that exist right now, today, 44% of a lawyer's job. This does not mean 44% of lawyers will lose their jobs tomorrow. Professions are sticky. Regulations protect them. Client relationships take decades to build. The law itself moves slowly, but what it does mean is this. A law firm that adopts AI effectively can now do the work of two firms with the same number of people, which means the legal industry does not need to fire lawyers en masse. It just needs to stop hiring them at the rate it used to. And that's already happening. Law firm hiring of first-year associates in the U.S. declined for the second consecutive year in 2025, according to NALP, the National Association for Law Placement. The pipeline is tightening, quietly, steadily. The lawyer is not dead, not even close. The lawyer who understands AI, who can direct it, question it, verify it, and apply real human judgment on top of it, that lawyer is probably more valuable than ever. But the lawyer who treats AI as a threat to be ignored, who submits ChatGPT hallucinations to a federal judge without checking, who keeps billing by the hour for work that now takes a machine 4 minutes, that lawyer is already a cautionary tale. Every generation of lawyers has had to adapt to new laws, new technologies, new societies. This is just the latest version of that story. The difference is the pace. And unlike most legal disputes, this one is not going to be resolved with more paperwork. The verdict, it seems, is already in.